Good morning. I'm learning on live that I need to give y'all a few minutes to get here. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes. I'm also a few minutes behind because I forgot my coffee. It's a rough morning. When you come in, wave so I can see that you're in the room. Also share if you think it's going to be beneficial to anyone else. My page is probably private, so they'll probably struggle getting it. I'll work on that later. But we probably have friends in common. Hey, Heavenly, good morning. Hey, Courtney, good morning. I'll give it just a couple of more minutes. Not even minutes, but whatever. And I decided to go live this morning with y'all because what I had to say, I thought it'd be great for us to pull up, especially since we did a live stream for Coffee and Grace this weekend. Not this weekend, earlier this week. And so I thought it'd be nice to kind of come together for the morning sip. And we haven't done morning sip for the last 2 days, but that was intentional. Hey, Madre, my mom's here. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to dive in because anyone else will be able to see this replay. So we're going to dive in and have our morning sip. I hope everybody's got a mug of something. Some of you might be in commute, so I'm going to be sensitive to that. But if you're not in commute and you're sipping on something, let me know what you're sipping on in the comment section. That's fun. I am drinking coffee this morning because anybody who really knows me, believe it or not, I'm not really a morning person. I do my best work and thinking in the morning, but it is not when I like to really engage in a whole lot of other stuff. And I've got my actually Paylocity mug, and no, this isn't a plug. They don't pay me, but they are good partners. And I consider them friends. And I have a lot of conversations with them. So shout out to Jamie if she's on, and Lauren and maybe a few other folks. So let's dig in. So first of all, good morning. Welcome to Friday's morning sip. You have made it this week. First of all, give yourselves a round of applause for that. Okay. So we're going to dig right in. If we are going to wrap up, we started this journey last week together. And if I'm too loud, just say I'm too loud. I'm from New York and I come from a loud Pentecostal family. And so I feel like my baseline is screaming, and I speak for a living. So I'm used to having to speak loud. So if I'm too loud, just say it. I'm actually thicker skinned than you might think. But, we started this journey last week with asking ourselves the question, right? Are you the superhero in your own life? But we also posed it, if you will, with an alternative thought of, or are you just showing up as the savior and everyone else is? And I really wanted to hone in on that because I think we've been trained to feel guilty about showing up, saving anything, even though at the end of the day, it's a lot of what we're doing. And it's funny, I was having this conversation with my therapist yesterday because, honey, me and Miss Shelley see each other weekly right now. Okay. Trust me, there's nothing here that I'm going to share with you that I'm not practicing and preaching and having to work hard to apply in my daily life. But I had this conversation with her yesterday where I was talking about how it's interesting how we've been put in this position to not feel like or feel guilty that we show up saving spaces when, quite frankly, when we're fulfilling a call and giving back to humanity in any way, that's exactly what we're doing. Now, I believe that we're not supposed to look to anyone to save us, and it's not supposed to be our job to look to be a savior. However, we are showing up. We're not just dominating. We're not just winning. We're saving spaces, and that is okay. And I want us to become comfortable with that, because when we become comfortable with that, it really elevates the level to make sure that we, in assessing how we're saving other spaces, how we're showing up as the cavalry, if you will. It gives us a baseline to really compare. Are we showing up equally in our own lives? And we shouldn't be showing up equal. We should be showing up more, which is why we should be showing up as the superhero. That is why it's called a personal superhero. When you think about any Marvel or DC comics, and you think about any superhero, Batman, I tend to use Batman a lot. Maybe it's because I watched it a lot growing up, but you name it, the Black Panther, what have you. If you think about it, they really are a version of themselves in any environment, right, that they're in. And whenever challenge finds them individually, whenever they find themselves because in all of these stories, there's always some personal, right, fork in the road where they have to make some decisions about themselves. Hey, Pia. Hey, Ann. Miss Ann, anyway. And I love Mandarin Orange Sparky. Yes. Courtney. But with superheroes, there's always this point in the road in a story where they're having some personal conflict. And it always comes down to, am I going to show up for me or the world? Am I going to show up for me? I just want to have a personal love life and have a family. If you think about the Superman series, right? You think about Bruce Wayne and, Batman. I just want to enjoy my millions, okay? And my family. But then I have to save the world. And what it always comes down to, and this is why the question, it's fine that you're saving. But you're showing up as the superhero in your own life first? So that's critical. That's important. What we talked about was all of the ways. So I'm really going to wrap it up so that you're in a position this weekend and over the next several, I'd say, weeks, if you will, to really do an assessment on, are you showing up as a superhero in your life, or are you giving yourself sidekick energy? Hey, Catrice. But the beauty I like about this system, because all we all need is systems and practices. Everything you need to achieve your next best is already within you. You always just typically need a partner to help you peel back the layers and tap into that thing that's buried in you because you're so busy doing everything else with everyone else for everyone else, right? And always remember this, success always needs a partner. No, there is no lone hero in success. Success always needs a partner. I just happen to be a success partner for you. And so I want to today kind of pull everything together from the last 2 weeks so that you're in a position where you can write down, here are my 5 areas. What I love most about it, these are the 5 areas to not only assess, but they're also the same 5 steps to make sure that you reposition yourself as a superhero in your life, level up as a superhero in your life. Because some of you may have heard, any of the steps and be like, I'm there. I'm already there. This is what I'm doing. And that is fantastic. But guess what? What got you here won't get you there. Where is there? Exactly where you want to go. Exactly what's waiting for you. And some of the challenge is that some of you have finally hit this place in your life where you feel like, I'm finally where I want to be. It feels good. It's comfortable. Key word, I'm successful. And for some of you, this is an annoying nudge, knock, knock, from God and the universe to say, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And so this system for you is important. All right, let's go through them. So number 1, right? Are your mornings, right? Are you giving your morning superhero or sidekick energy? I explained all of that in that video. Go back, read it, listen, all the things. Okay. Secondly, and I need my list because I don't know who else is over 40 that needs a list, but I need my notes. Secondly, what's your vision looking like? Okay. When's the last time you visited? Vision boards are amazing, but don't leave them in a corner. Sit, dwell, like we're going to get to a separate session just on visioning and actually the act of visioning for your life. And I think it's going to blow your mind. But what's your vision looking like? How frequently are you visiting it? Does it need leveling up? 3, what's the rest and play factor looking like in your life? You got a plan or no, right? Got a plan or no? We talked about last weekend how it's critical, okay? If we think about superheroes in a context, tell me what superhero didn't need rest and play. Typically, they were burned out or something of the magnitude when they started to show up as the lowest version of themselves for themselves, which eventually made them show up in a reduced capacity for those they're called to. So that's why the rest and play factor is super critical. Number 4, upgrade the team. Now, this is the one that a lot of y'all didn't watch yet. And I want you to watch it because we hear a lot about getting your circle right. And you do have to have your circle right. You do. But I'm telling you, I want you to even shift the mindset of how you look at your team and circle in your life. It needs to be the production team. Every superhero had a production team. Think about every single superhero we know. There was always some interesting board of people including in different various levels of representing different paradigms and spheres in their lives that contributed to them showing up as a global superhero. It's the same for you. Hey, cousin Charlene. I saw what you were drinking too, Stephanie. Stephanie says, good morning, Dee and everyone. I'm sipping on blonde roast. Yes, I'm sipping on some Colombian roast my husband bought us. I didn't pay too much attention to what else it said, but it does taste good. But your production team, make sure you level that up, upgrade it. I'm telling you, wherever it is right now is not enough. How do I know? When's the last time some of y'all went for a physical, just for a physical? When's the last time you had a conversation with your doctor to simply say, what's the health plan for our lives? Not run these blood tests. Let me tell y'all. So I'm going through a medical scenario right now where I've just got these weird symptoms and some of my blood tests are coming back abnormal, significantly abnormal. And when I tell you my doctor has no idea what's wrong with me, like literally no clue. He's literally wanting to prescribe me stuff basically so we can figure out what's wrong. And once I realized that I had them, right, and I was in this reactive seat instead of directing them and utilizing my medical team as part of my production team, I shifted the gears. I said, no. We're not going to just have me taking this. What's the plan here? What's the goal for my health? What shifts do we need to make before we start just randomly taking meds? I don't know why I went there. I guess somebody needed to hear that. Last but not least, number 5. The number 5 area is self-love. We did an entire Coffee and Grace episode on self-love. You're going to probably say, I didn't see a video on self-love for Morning Sip. You're right, because it needs its own week. So we're going to talk about that next week. But your 5 areas for making sure that you are showing up as the superhero in your own life, your mornings, your vision, your rest and play, your production team, your self-love. You might say, so what am I supposed to do with these 5? Sit with it. And I want you to assess and sit before you try to fix. Oftentimes we move straight into, I'd say, engagement mode or fix mode. The secret weapon, the real secret weapon, the real secret weapon to mind-blowing success is silence and meditation. And I don't mean meditation in a meditative pose or you've got to, start quoting some chants. Listen, I mean meditating on just nothing and or something. Do you know how powerful it'll be if you could find 10 minutes this weekend? 10 minutes to take these 5 areas. Don't think about what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, and simply just reflect in quietness. on it. You'd be shocked at the download that you're going to get around now what to do next. Part of the reason you need a system is because we actually need something to even shift our mindset into thinking that we need to show up as the superhero in our lives. Some of us don't even think about it that way. And you might be saying, okay, so then what happens when I assess and there's a whole bunch of things that I got to do? That's why we're here. Start one step at a time. We don't have to figure out the entire plan. Heavenly said, I'm glad you were able to be an advocate for yourself. You know what? Me too, Heavenly. I haven't always been able to be an advocate for myself. Why? Because I was in the sidekick. I was in the side hatch, sidekick seat, looking at Batman driving my life with titles that I prayed for until I started to think about my success and realize that I am in more control of my destiny than I think. Me and God are actually partners. Actually, me and the universe are partners in my destiny. God determines my destiny, which is why your spiritual team is super important. And so I want you to take 10 minutes this weekend and do that. And if you assess and come from a place to say, listen, all 5 of these areas, I need major work. Okay, then ask yourself, where do I start? Where do I start? Because it's all here. It's fine. I just want you to assess. I got the rest. Show up to morning sip. Trust me, you're going to get what you need. Some of you may also be asking the question, why do I even need to go through this? And that is the main point of the morning sip. And I'm going to share this and then we're going to leave. Stephanie said, I've been living as the sidekick for sure. Most of us have. And if we're not living as the sidekick in one area of our lives, we're living it in another. That's why we need a system. Jasmine said, great motivation. I love it. I'm going to give y'all this last drop. Let me get my cup. Okay. This last drop. And then we're going to go and slay the day and prepare for a great weekend. Why this is important. And this one, this one goes out to Truman McGee because his post really actually added this morning. The reason that we need a system to ensure that we're showing up as the superhero in our own lives is because saying yes is the easiest part. You're like, saying yes to what? Everything. Saying yes to the glimpse of the dreams for your life, saying yes to the calling for your life. Stop thinking that the only people with callings stand in pulpits and behind TV monitors and screens and get Academy Awards. Okay? We all have a calling. We all have a destiny. And it's all connected to these dreams for our lives that some of you have only had subconscious views of while sleeping. And what I want is us to start to bring that forward. But saying yes to God, saying yes to the call, saying yes to the dream. And the dream could be anything from the marriage, the children, the career, the business. Listen, saying yes is the easy part. It's the easy part. Follow through and thriving in the follow through is where it gets tough. And the reason Truman's message impacted me this morning is because he said he came across these videos and it impacted him. And for those who may not know me really well, I run a consulting firm. This is not my day gig. I don't do this for income. I don't do this for money. I don't do coffee and grace for money. But yes, it takes a lot of work, a lot of discipline because I said yes. And in the yes, it's hard. Even in my consulting firm, it's hard. But you know what? I am so sick and tired of amazing human beings, the ones who are the salt of the earth, the ones who have the right character and mindset, living beneath their capacity, their ability, and their God-given billionaire right to do what they've been placed on this earth to do. I'm also tired of us getting what we want and not knowing how to thrive in it. And so we're just surviving in it. And so the reason I want you to have a system of personal superhero strategy is because not only is next level coming, it's here. And on my watch, if you follow through, you're going to experience a level of enjoyment and joy fulfilling what you've been asking to fulfill or secretly desiring for the first time in your life. Joy, happiness, wealth, prosperity, success, and saying yes to God can all exist. They do not have to be mutually exclusive. But it is about mindset. It is about discipline. It is about where you're spending your time and how you're feeding your soul and your energy. All the things. All the things. Saying yes is the easy part. Saying yes to wanting to come to Morning Sip is the easy part. Following through for yourself in a superhero way, now that's the real work. But I'm telling you, God in the universe never plays fair. They don't play fair, but they're always on our side. So imagine, how do I know that? Because when you sow an apple seed, do you get an apple seed back? Do you get an apple back or do you get an apple tree? Okay. Do we pay attention to the stock market? Do we think that this currency was just randomly invented by man? No, it wasn't. When conception takes place for a human body, when a seed is sown out of an egg, do we just get a seed and an egg back? No, we get a person, a soul, a vision. We get you. That's how I know God and the universe don't play fair. So what happens when you start playing with them in the game of your life in a way that makes your favor show up, that makes your actions show up, that literally makes the trajectory of your life, your generational shifting, show up in a way that ain't even fair? And who cares who thinks it's fair? I don't care. I don't know who this is for, but I don't care who thinks that you don't deserve to be where you are or where you're going. I don't care who doesn't think that you're qualified. I don't care what degrees you do or don't have. I don't care what classes you didn't finish. I don't care what man you didn't keep. I could care less. I'm telling you, your next is here, but it's time to level up in a way that we have never leveled up before. And it starts with putting on the cape for you. It starts with saying, I am going to be the superhero of my own life. When you start looking at yourself that way, you start judging your own vision differently. You start dreaming God-sized prayers. You start saying, I'm not going to give my first 10 minutes of the day to social media and other people's lives and perceptions or what they want us to believe. I'm going to thank the divine for waking me up, and I'm going to think about how I am going to leave an impact on this earth today. What does Tabitha Brown say? Listen, it may not be a good day, but don't go around messing someone else's up. Why? Because you don't need to. People who show up in bitter ways are people who can't hack. They can't crack the hack of the sidekick energy in their lives. That's their own business, honey. That's not ours. So with that, we're going to close up. Thank you, Lathea. Thank you, Lynette. Y'all done got me hyped this morning. I don't even know if I covered all of my notes. You all are the absolute best. I love joining with you all. I said yes. It wasn't an easy yes, but I said yes. And so for those of you who want to say yes and you want a success partner on the journey in a community of like-mindedness, because where there are numbers, there's power. That's not a cliche. Just meet us here. Sometimes we'll be live. Sometimes it'll be recorded, but it's all good. And we're going to keep building. I am going to get down to the point where I figure out where we're going live from, where we're not. Right now, Facebook is the easiest place to go live because that's where most of you are. If you're on Instagram, go follow me at D Kendricks on Instagram and Coffee and Grace, because eventually I do want to shift there. If you haven't subscribed to Coffee and Grace on the YouTube channel, please do me a favor. Go subscribe now so that you never miss a morning sip that may not be live or anything else that we place up there. And when we go live for Coffee and Grace, like the actual show, like we did with my husband this week, it's going to typically be from the YouTube channel, and we'll try to make sure that it streams on the Facebook page. But go ahead, listen, part of the burden in saying yes is not keeping it all to yourself, is bringing others along, because the same way I am a success partner in your journey, you are a success partner in someone else's. Everything that we do on this earth is for this earth. That's why I know that it's not God's plan for us to live small thinking, oh, I shouldn't think of myself as showing up and saving spaces. Please. I save spaces every day. I am the Olivia Pope of corporate and nonprofit America. Okay? Forget what you heard. And I'm proud of it. And that's okay. But I can't show up for them more than I show up for me. So this weekend, 10 minutes. I know I normally ask for 5. So give me 10. If you can't give me 10, give me 5. I want you to go through the 5 steps and do an assessment. Just sit quietly with it. Then I want you to write it in a notebook. Get yourself a journal. Get yourself a morning sip superhero journal. That's a good idea. I don't have any for you to buy. That's probably a great business idea. I'll get to it. But get yourself a journal, notebook. It doesn't have to be fancy. Order something on Amazon that could be there by tomorrow. You know, it's like 100 things. And just write those 5, meditate on it, then come back after you've meditated. And trust me, I don't have to tell you what's next. You're going to be amazed at how you know what's next. And now this is the part that might scare y'all. I'm going to say this and then we're going to go for real. Use your spiritual team. Now, some of the saints might be like, oh, Lord, she going off here. Use your spiritual team. We operate in such a reduced manner when it comes to the spiritual power that we have on the earth. By spiritual team, whatever that is for you. For me, it's God, the Holy Spirit, and my angel team. Call them in. Tell them, I need you to help me process this and execute in a way that I don't know how. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. So with that, I want y'all to have the best Friday. I want y'all to share this video. I'll make sure it's public so that people can see it. But I want you to be bold. I want you to be authentic. Why? Because you are the best you that will ever grace this earth. And most importantly, I want you to be gracious. But I want you to start that race of grace within. I simply adore you all. Have an amazing weekend. But most importantly, have an amazing life. See y'all later. Hey, Tanya, good morning. I'm glad you caught it. Well, technically I call you Carter, but Tanya's what came up first.